Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Seaver Show. Today, we're breaking down a top five list of teams who have choked the most in professional sports. So we have the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB. Do you have NBA teams on yours?
I
Any
do
NBA?
not. I do
Okay,
not. I
I don't need.
was I was going to, but these other ones are more important to me.
Same, but yeah. Regardless, all four professional sports were up for grabs here. We're gonna work our way from number five up to number one. Who do you have in the number five spot?
In my number five spot, I have the Minnesota Wild. In their 22 years of existence, they've made the playoffs 12 times. They've only made the Western Conference Finals one time, the rest with first round exits. They've had a lot of potential. They've had a lot of teams to win, and they've choked every time.
Yeah, I forget about the Wild, how like relevant they've been, and they haven't really done anything with it. All right, at number five on my list, this one hits a little close to home. Well, previous home. I got the Green Bay Packers at number five. The Packers have made the playoffs 26 of the last 30 seasons and have two Super Bowls to show for it. Now, I always make this argument, well, that's two more Super Bowls than a lot of other teams have, which is great. I mean, I've been alive for for the last two Super Bowls they've had. So I mean, I've been alive to see one of my favorite teams win it. So I'm grateful for that. But nonetheless, 26 times getting there and only two, that's not a very good rate. Um, and obviously, most recently, the Packers can't get past either the NFC Championship or the San Francisco 49ers. And with the Packers' current decline, Rodgers, how long is he going to stay? Devontae Adams left. That team isn't looking great. I think it's going to be a few more years before they become competitive again. So, um, yeah, I got the Packers at number five. We'll move on to number four here. We're going to do a little snake draft. So I'm going to do
I
my
guess
number.
my only little knock that I would have on that is during that 20-year stretch, during the last 30-year stretch, how many Super Bowls did the Cowboys win out of that? They've won three. How many of the Patriots won? Seven. So there's 10. So there's really only 20 Super Bowls. So two out of 20 because those teams were fucking dynasties.
Right, right.
Like I always put that in there too when I always look at the Packers in that reference because it's like how many other times are there true dynasties like that in a sport that have just reigned championships? Not many.
Right. And I feel like too, just the stigma of the Packers being who they are. The Lombardi Trophy is named after a former Packers coach. Green Bay is called Title Town, so I feel like they have this. They
And
have
they're one
big
of the
shoes to
smallest
fill every
cities,
year.
smallest
Yeah,
NFL markets.
yeah. So I feel like the even though the Packers fans don't say, "Oh, this is our year" every year like the Cowboys do, I think because we have that Title Town sticker on us, and people always think, "Oh, you guys think you're gonna win it every year." It's like, I mean, do I want them to win every year? Yes. Do I think they're gonna win every year? No. But I think that's part of it too. Um, Moving up to number four here, just mentioned them. I got the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have just four playoff wins since winning the Super Bowl in 1995. And despite having arguably one of the best rosters, top to bottom, every single year, they find a way to lose out right away in the playoffs. Um, yeah, that just with recent years, again, their rosters, how they go into the playoffs, they lose out right away. They yeah, four playoff wins in since longer than I've been alive, since 95, a year before I was born. They only have four playoff wins.
Yeah, the Cowboys definitely know how to choke a lot. That's for sure. I definitely agree with you on that. And my number four, I have the Milwaukee Brewers. Um, they made the postseason eight times of the 53 years that they've been around. Um,
That's it.
yeah,
uh,
their
Not a lot of
postseason,
playoff baseball in Milwaukee.
their postseason record is, however, 21 and 28. So that means they have won a lot of games when they have made to the postseason. Usually always get one game away from making it to the World Series and choke. Brewers, we've choked so many times. Once we've made it, we've had the team, and then after we don't make it, we lose all of our players. They go to the Dodgers, they go to the Padres, they go to the Red Sox, they go to all these other teams, then end up winning a World Series. So, if we could have best worst like farm team, the Brewers are like the best farm team for the MLB.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And then going to my number three spot, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. 67 was the last time that they've won the cup. They've made the playoffs 71 times in the 105 years of the NHL's existence. That's damn near 75%. Um, they do have 13 cups, and their last one being in 67 goes to show this team hasn't done squat since then. Kind of using the same reference to the Cowboys. They have the roster, they have the team. Obviously, I believe that also is a curse. The media putting that type of expectation and pressure on that team to get such results. But yeah, Leafs seem to choke again and again and again. And until I don't see the Leafs winning a cup with Austin Matthews there. I think he's going to leave at some point.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't get one there, I mean, why would he stay? Like, look at Devontae Adams. He's like, I'm doing what I fucking can, and we can't get there. Fine, I'm gonna go elsewhere. Although it looks like Las Vegas wasn't the place to go, but
He may have made the wrong choice in that
yeah.
move.
All right, my number three pick. I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I got the same number three spot here. Just a couple extra stats to kind of throw out there, piggybacking off of yours. 2003 was the last year that they got a playoff series win. So it's been nearly a decade since they've won a series. Um, since then, they have lost out of the first round in 5 of their last 6 appearances. As you mentioned, haven't won a cup since 1967. And despite being one of the most loved teams in professional sports, have been cursed in the playoffs for many, many decades. So, uh, yeah, you kind of everything else I would have said, you already hit on the head. So I'll move on to my number two spot here. Back to baseball. We have the Los Angeles Dodgers at number two. Uh, and in a sport where money is no object, the Dodgers have found a way to win just one World Series despite having 10 consecutive playoff appearances. A team that spends more than anyone else to bring their best players in the world to LA seem to fall short every single year. And since 1995, they have lost out of the divisional round 7 times, the championship round 5 times, and have 2 World Series losses. And even though they did win the World Series in 2020, not too like it's only a couple seasons ago. In my opinion, every 2020 championship in all professional sports have that asterisk next to it because of COVID. The bubble for the NBA, the Super Bowl seems like it was the only one that was like you couldn't really tell that there was much of a difference.
Oh, with cardboard fans.
No, remember because they feel it was at SoFi, they packed it and nobody's wearing masks, and it's like, what's going on? That was kind of like the end of
World
COVID.
Baseball, I believe they had capacity all year.
Baseball,
Yeah, I thought they had like 20% all year long,
yeah,
and then
they
the
yeah
postseason it was packed. Postseason it was packed.
yeah, but nonetheless, yeah, their one win in the last. I can't remember when their last series was before this. I think it was early 90s was the last time they won it other than the 2020. But yeah, the Dodgers, they literally spend way more than anybody else to bring players into that franchise and they can't win it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see. I kind of half agree with that, half not, because it's like that one year that they did win the postseason, they were the top spender, but they haven't been the number one spender since then. They're always like around the number 5 spot, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. But yeah, when I went back and look since like the 90s, they've been fifth or higher in spending.
because I was just looking at like for this next year. I just pulled up for next year's payroll. The New York Mets are spending 282 million. Yankees are spending 230. Phillies are spending 193. Padres are spending 172, and then the Dodgers are spending 165. So it's like they're spending 130, 120 million less than the top than the New York teams.
Yeah.
And they're still getting there I just think yes, they choke, but like their consistency of I feel like baseball is another one of those that it's so hard to win
Oh yeah.
that it just everything has to line up perfectly in order for
You
it
need
to
hitting, you need a good starter,
pitching.
you need a good bullpen, you need a good like yeah. If any one of those phases is lacking, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, I agree for all those reasons. Just the only thing, like I said, was with how all team like going back to the Brewers, that's one of the reasons why I don't think that they'll ever consistently win championships is the money aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
My number two team here, Skull, Minnesota Vikings. They have 29 playoff appearances, which is the fifth most out of any NFL team. They're 0-4 in Super Bowls, and Minneapolis Miracle. We can just name how many things here that have gone crazy plays that have happened either with them or against them in primetime moments, and it hasn't mattered. They haven't won. Speaking of right now, just gonna recheck on the game here. Colts 30-0, Minnesota at home. And they're about to get scored on. Like, I don't know. They just seem to fall when they have everything going right from like the fans' point, it seems like their team just falls apart.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
week one beat the Packers. Oh, they looked so good. Oh, look at their record. They're so good. They beat the Eagles. Like, oh shit, they're the only team to beat the Eagles. What have they done
The
since?
Commanders beat the Eagles.
Or excuse me, yeah, they almost beat the Eagles. They lost.
Yeah.
They lost at the end. But yeah, it's just like for how good their record has always seems, nothing to show for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and as a Packers fan, we've had a front seat to this for a long time watching the Vikings come up
Choke.
short every single year.
And obviously to our benefit because we're Packers fans, but it's just like that's got to suck for them.
Yeah, for sure.
And 33-0 now at half.
All right, moving up to the number one spot. Who is your number one team who chokes the most?
Chicago Cubs. That is the number one for me. It was 100 and what was it? 105 years before they won their first World Series. I think it's going to be 105 before they win their second. Um, this is another team that almost yes, winning that championship. I feel like they screwed their team for another 100 years.
Hmm.
And that's basically all I got to say. Like they built that team to win, they won. Yes, congratulations, job well done. Now what does Chicago have to show for it? They lost all their top players. They don't have anybody. It's gonna be a long time, Chicago. It's gonna be a long time. And I feel bad for all of Chicago, really, is because the Bears have the most to be hopeful for, and the Bulls.
Yeah, I'd say the
Like the
Bulls.
Blackhawks are dead last. They're done for.
Hmm. Otherwise, if you go to the WNBA, the Chicago Sky are usually pretty decent.
Yeah, but WNBA. I
Yeah.
mean, not to knock on it, but it's just like people don't really pay attention
Right.
to it like Broadway. I bet Broadway plays get more attention than WNBA.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Who's your number one?
My number one, I have the Buffalo Bills, who have a 17 and 19 playoff record of all time. So they can get there, but can never deliver. And despite recent success, obviously they look like they're again one of the favorites to win it all again this year. They have the roster to do it, yada yada yada. but nonetheless, they have just just like the Cowboys since 1993, they have four playoff wins. Um,
How many came last year? Three.
did they get one last year? Who did
They
they?
lost to the Chiefs in that AFC Championship.
No, Bengals. It was
Oh, that
Bengals
was 2 years
Chiefs
ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah. So four.
So within the last 2 years, I think they've gotten all four.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it just goes for so since their 90s run, which is why I have them at number one, even though they have recent success. Yes, their four playoff wins have come in the last couple years, but what puts them at number one for my list is them being able to do what nobody else has done from 90 to 93, four consecutive Super Bowl appearances and losing all of them. If that doesn't scream most choking team in history, I don't know what does.
Yeah, that's tough.
Like I can't like imagine being a Bills fan, like 90, make it to the Super Bowl. Oh, well, we'll get them next year. Oh, we're back. Oh, no. Okay, okay, next year. Oh, okay. Like 4 years straight of getting to the show and not winning it. That's just like I'm glad I can't relate. I'm just glad I can't relate because I can't imagine like being my age now in the 90s, watching that happen, just like the toll that would take of why like watching the Packers go to four straight Super Bowls and losing. I don't I'd jump ship at that point or something.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, that'll wrap up this segment. Again, we'll be releasing more episodes or little mini segments like this, breaking down top five lists, breaking down a specific sports odd, talking about it, talking about anything Seattle or Denver sports, since that's where we're located now. Um, but yeah, you guys know where to find us as always on all of our socials. If you want to check out all of our bets, we're basically putting up bets every day, every other day on DraftKings Sportsbook. Under betting groups, look up the Seaver Show, tail some of our bets with us.
And
Or
that's the space Seaver space show. The
okay,
Seaver Show.
good to know. So it's not like socials where it's all one word. Okay,
Nope.
perfect. And yeah, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram. If you want to listen to our audio episodes, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, probably anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast, you guys can find us. We will see you guys on Saturday for some more sports betting picks, and be sure to check out all of our socials for any memes, all of our picks during the week, all that good stuff. You don't want to miss out on all of it. Have a great week, guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.